So okay, we're gonna try to finish the class of last week, talking about fear, and we were already into the class before we start recording, and but uh, we stay in the fear that fear of God, um, and we were talking last week that how God demands from us to fear Him when He's our Father. How can you? I mean, it's like if your dad is demanding from you. You have to be scared of that, of me. You have to fear me because I'm your father. Oh my gosh, who's gonna love that kind of father? So you might love him, but out of fear, not out of love, not out of gratitude. So a lot of people love their parents out of fear, not out of gratitude or out of love. Yeah. So like a father that always screaming and beating their kids, and just telling them how awful they are. You have a peanut in your brain and you're stupid. You're worse than a monkey. And I mean that kind of man that they should have never been parents in the first place. Um, so destructive. So how can you love a father like that? You just can't. And if you do, you're gonna love him out of fear. Yeah, because well, it's my father. I have to live with him. So, and when God says, or when Hashem demands from us to fear Him, we have to understand that is respect. It's actually the primary meaning of the word. Remember the word in Hebrew? Yira? Uh-huh. That's Yirat with tav at the end, the T. Yirat Hashem is the fear of God. Okay? So, in if we have time before I go to my trip to Cuba, we're gonna talk about what is exactly the fear of God. That's a very deep concept, and it's not. Once again, we're gonna go beyond the respect. Okay, it has to do with the Torah. It has to do with with His words. So the only way to love a person or be reciprocal to another person, loving a person, is when we are loved by this person. In this case, our parents. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't want to get into the love your enemies, and that's another business. We are talking about family here, family issues. The love of the father, because the love of the father or the love of the mother is the closest love of God. Yeah. But even the love of the father and the mother is still short, limited. Have you heard in the news this father in Louisiana, killed his 5 kids and strangled his wife? Have you heard news like that? Yeah. So this mother drowned his babies in the bathtub. A mother that burned his boy with cigarettes, and he killed him. And I mean, this is every single day you see this. I mean, don't come to me and say that, oh, the love of the mother is the greatest. The love of the fathers is the greatest. It's not true. That's baloney. There's a lot of fathers there and a lot of mothers that they love their kids because they are just waiting for them to leave when they are 18 so I can start all over my life, okay? And it's American life, you know that. And but when I get 80, I want my children back because they're gonna feed me, they're gonna clothe me, so I have met so many parents, and remember, I'm a family counselor. I have seen a lot, 30 plus years, okay, that many parents, they don't even notice that they love their kids because they have an interest. Yeah. They have an interest. I work so hard for you. and I work so hard for you. Have you heard that? Have you heard that? So many parents do it in a good way, okay? But there are other parents that they basically are preparing the way so that when they get old, okay, basically they are saying, when I get old, you're gonna pay me back. Actually, we met a lady in Louisiana. We met a lady. Oh, just remembering this story, I get on hit. I mean, it's hot here. So this lady had actually like a notebook. Where is it? Like this. Oh, by the way, who's this? Somebody left this here. And I see how you guys study. Look at just drawings, muñequitos, and I see how you study while I speak. That's beautiful. So, it's another one funny here. So this lady had her notebook, and I'm serious. And she actually, every time their kids came to her house, they were married, already. Well, before they were married, she actually, I took you to the karate class, $20 of gas, round trip, February 1995. So when they got married, you won't believe this. She had this big, thick notebook for each one of her kids. And literally, she said, "This is what you cost me, and this is what you owe me." We met a lady like that. So, bless you. So think about it, and believe me, a child costs not only money, but costs your entire life. Okay, so when you have your babies, say bye-bye your entertainment. You don't own yourself. Yeah, you are destined to live and die for that little baby. If you don't think that way, you better don't get married, because you're gonna just create monsters. Okay, like this lady. So, but why am I saying this? Yeah, the love of the mother is the greatest. The love of the father is the greatest. No, there are some mothers and some fathers that, wow, amazing. They are so close to the love of God, but still they stay short. They stay short. I have given every second, every tear, every sweat, everything of my time, of my life to my kids, and still I'm this close to the love of Hashem, the love of God. Yeah. So how can we reciprocal? How can we be reciprocal to this great love when we have this feeling of fear, and because fear produces you don't trust. When you fear, you don't trust. And the main ingredient for our relationship with God, for a relationship with our parents, for a relationship with everybody is trust. You don't have trust, everything is gone. Yeah. The reason you are here in this class is because you have a sense of trust in my person. You know that what I'm going to say here is going to be helpful for you. You've been knowing me, and you know that you perceive that I love you guys, that I appreciate you come to this class. Yeah. So, but if you're scared of me, if you won't be here today. So, yeah, and this is very sad, because we found that a lot of people, who knows, maybe in this synagogue, in this moment, we have people here, maybe, who knows. I'm not saying that there are people, but maybe, who knows. There are people that are here because they feel the obligation to come, because if they don't come, God is going to get upset with them. If I don't pray, God is going to get upset with me. If I don't read the Bible, God is going to get upset with me. All these ideas of, you are loving God out of fear, and that at the end is destructive. You don't do that. You don't do that. That is the real freedom in God. When we comprehend this powerful force, of fear. And then when we comprehend that any relationship can be sustained with fear, or through fear, or by fear, it must be sustained by love, pure love. And by love, what is love? Love is something that we receive, ahava in Hebrew, ahava. What does ahava mean? Something that we receive free, that we have that is so precious, so unique, that we have the moral obligation and the moral responsibility to take care of it and to preserve it. That's what love means. Something that has been given to us without deserving that precious gift. Yeah. And we respond protecting and maintaining that precious thing that has been given to us. That's what love means. So in other words, love means to give. Love involves responsibility. Actually, love is responsibility. Love, contrary to fear, fear is an emotion. Love is not an emotion. We think that love is an emotion here in Western world. Yeah? Who invented love? That kind of love. You know who invented love. Do we have French descendants here? No French descendants? Nobody is. The French invented love, you know? Oh, you still don't understand that joke. Okay. Yeah, you see, French are known by very emotional people, very sentimental people, I love you, and the language is a romantic language. And so, but we got it wrong. Love is not an emotion. Love is a responsibility. Remember when we went to the mission to downtown to help these people? Did you go there? Why? Out of fear or out of love? Out of love. How can you love somebody that you don't know? You didn't know these people. They're from Venezuela, from Colombia, all these people that were crossing the border. How can you, it's all these arguments people use, but you can't love a person that you don't know. Of course you can. You're thinking very French. You're thinking very Western. We don't love people because we feel. We love people because it's a responsibility to love. And then when we do what is our responsibility, then we have that good feeling of what we did. Did you feel good when we did that? Remember? Wow. And by the way, I'm still in touch with Ever. Do you know where is he now? He's in Norwalk, in Connecticut. And he said, it's too cold here, the snow, I can't even go outside because the snow is about 3 feet and 4, it's horrible, cold, and I want to go back to Texas, he said. So I'm trying to help this young man to relocate him. So maybe in Austin, somewhere in that area. I have friends. It's a good young man. I've been in touch with him. So yeah, the point is that when we take responsibility to do what is right in life, then we got good feelings. The good feelings is the result of love. The feelings is not the initial thing of love. It's the result. Yeah, it's like a train. You have the how do you call the first the train, the first cart with engine. How do you call it? The first cart of the train, the one that has engine, the ones that has the machine, the power to pull the rest of the carts. How do you call it?
What do you mean?
Like where the driver.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's the caboose?
Well, in Spanish we call it máquina.
Conductor?
Huh?
No,
it's the guy.
My goodness. Okay. So, yeah, love is like the máquina. Feelings are the cards. Different feelings, different emotions. So Feelings follow the machina. You get it? Feelings follow responsibility. So love is responsibility. So it's a responsibility, it's a moral responsibility to love God out of love because He loved us first and we respond to the love. Okay? We are irresponsible and negligent if we respond to that love in fear. That is destructive. That is destructive. So there are other two forces of, I want to mention, um, I don't know, you don't have your notes. I don't see you writing down anything. So if I go there where you are, maybe you are drawing muñequitos, huh? It's fine if you draw muñequitos, but make your notes too, okay? So you have passages like Isaiah 14, Psalm 64, verse 1, Psalms 27, Psalms verse 1, Psalms 27, verse 3, Psalms 23. I mean, I can keep going and on with so many scriptures that why are all these scriptures hammering the same idea? Okay. It shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give you rest from your travail and your fear. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold in my life, of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Okay? And on and on and on. So think about it. We have had the scripture for centuries. And it's amazing how people has been taught so wrong and people believe these things that religious leaders put them in their hearts. And this comes from the medieval times, even before the medieval times, centuries before. That you should fear God, you should fear God. But they never talk about you should respond to God with love and respect because He's your Father. And He loves you even more. You think your Father loves you? Oh, yes. Your Father loves you even much more. So, no. But you should fear God. Okay? And they use all these texts that have to do with a God as a warrior, you know, God and Sodom and Gomorrah, He threw fire, you know, and in the flood, He killed everybody through this. And yes, and He did all those things, and I hope He can actually keep doing those things with so many perverts today. honestly. Um, Sometimes I argue with Hashem, and I say, why don't you do the same thing that you did, in Sodom and Gomorrah with these people? I mean, this is just awful, evil people. You know what I'm talking about? All these people that are in power in the schools, that they are, yeah, here I go again, promoting all this sexual promiscuity, all this stuff, all this evil stuff with children. Who are these people that want to take control of that's such a sacred area in our children? They don't have the right to teach them what all this stupidity, that they can be, you can decide to be a girl if you're a boy, I mean, who are these people? These people are evil. And sometimes I say, why don't you do the same thing, please? Take these people away. Well, he will. I hope soon, one day. Yeah, because if we don't feel indignated by all these things that are going on in the world, it seems like we are very complacent, and it seems like it's okay when I get married, I have my kids. It's okay if they go to these schools and they are taught this way. No, no. Our children belong to us, parents. They don't belong to the state. Always keep that in mind. And never fear the state. Never trust the state. Never fear the government. Never trust the government. Never. Make sure the government fears you. Is what our founding father said. Remember who said that? People should not fear the government. The government shall fear the people.
Wasn't it Bush?
Huh?
Wasn't it Bush?
No. Jefferson.
Oh, right. I
No.
swear Bush said something like that too.
You know, Bush said a lot
No,
of
who was it?
weird stuff, things. Yeah. Well, the two Bushes. Yeah, the two Bushes. So no, but yeah, it's amazing. You know, we are backwards now. People fear the government now. Oh, I have to do what the government says. You know, and why people are obeying the government out of fear? Same thing. That's why we don't have so much patriotic people, particularly here in El Paso. Here in El Paso, you know what? I remember in Oregon, where I'm coming from, everywhere you go, flags of the United States. People are, you know, even in Austin, when I lived in Austin. El Paso is unique. This is not America. This is not Mexico. It's kind of like it's on the air. Have you noticed that? You don't see patriotic people, and that's not right. That's not right, because we have to love the place where we are, and we have to, you know, respond out of love. Look at all the benefits you have. Whether you came here when you were little or you were born here. And you don't love this country because of the benefits, but you love the country because you just love the country. Same thing with God. We don't love God because He gives us benefits. We love God because He's God. He gives me the great opportunity to prove myself how much I love Him, even if He doesn't bless me materially. Yeah, a lot of people get it wrong, you know. Oh, I'm so blessed. You know? Oh, yeah, because he has a big fat bank account, you know. He has a nice car, you know, healthy. But will you love God the same way you say you love Him? Without bank account, without a fancy car, without all these things? Yeah. So, two types. I want to mention two kinds of fear more. The fear to disease. There's a fear to disease. Recently, we were making some jokes in home because once in a while I see how the world is. You know, I turn on the news, Fox News, and honestly I don't trust them, but sometimes they say something that is accurate. You know, sometimes, and we were listening that. Have you heard that tomatoes are good for your prostate? Man, are you over 40? Eat tomatoes, you know.
My grandma.
All the men eating tomatoes. So, and then almost 2 weeks after, another news, recent studies found out that tomatoes are bad for your prostate. And oops, all men were, oh my gosh, oh, I've been eating so many tomatoes in 15 days, you know. So the last thing we heard is in Google News is that exercise actually is harmful for your body. Think about it. Exercise is harmful for your body. If you don't do this and this and this and this and take these nutrients and these vitamins and this and this and this, this type of exercise can affect your kidneys, this type of exercise. I mean, when we have heard and we have known, my whole life I've been an athlete. I won 2 marathons. Okay? And I know Taekwondo. My whole life I've been an athlete. Okay? So when people ask me, what happened? Oh, thank you. Can everyone stand, please? Oh. Nah, she's gone. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And people ask me when they come to a ranch, and you build all this, and you put that post there. Have you seen those posts of the electricity? Okay. Me and my wife. You know my wife, she's short. Okay. Basically, 95% of that was me. Okay. I dug a hole and I put that post, an electric post there. Something that it takes 4, 5, 6 guys. If you see things that I have done by myself, there, did you do that? How do you do that? Well, my whole life I've been active. Okay, it's exercise, it's my diet. So, but now the media is trying to convince us that you need medication now, or to buy vitamins, to go to Whole Foods, to go to Sprouts, and to get this oil for your ligaments, and this, because we just found out the most expert people in ever in society and humanity. We just found out after thousands of years that exercise can be actually harmful for your body. Bebakashi. Please. Yeah. So fear, constant fear. So don't drink this brand of water because we just found out metals and mercury, and then this is the brand I used to. I'm gonna switch to this one. Yeah. And then you Google it. Well, it got 4 stars. It didn't make it to 5 because, what am I gonna do? And everybody's scared to death to even sleep. Okay, do you know that when you sleep, if you don't sleep, have you heard that? They came with this idea that if you sleep in certain position, that can be harmful for your heart. You have to sleep the other way, the right side, okay? And you have to put a pillow between your legs and another pillow here. And think about it. If you get up, you're gonna be like in the morning. I mean, there's no way you can escape from all this propaganda of fear. Oh, there is another variant of the D-Book 19. The D-Book, read it backwards. Another variant. Okay. I just received a call from my friend in Mexico. He said, tomorrow, he was proudly to say, tomorrow I'm going to go and get my Ford piquetazo, huh? My Ford shot. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. That's all I said. So, I'm so sorry. He was so excited, people. It's like people boast of being slaves of fear. Have you noticed that? I have talked to people that, I remember when the COVID era, I already mentioned that name. I hope they don't block me. The D-Book era. The D-Book era. It's just passed a few months ago. D-Book era. They're talking about the D-Book era now. I remember the D-Book era. I got the COVID, and they when they talk about this, they feel proud that they were part of the D-Book 19. So I participated in this historical moment. I got D-Book 19. Know something?
Like 4 times.
Yeah, and you still see people driving cars with masks, and they are by themselves, So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's amazing. I remember. Well, for the people that don't know what D-Book means, D-Book, I'm gonna put it 19. If I mention the word, they block me or they censor me. They still are in that business, So read it backwards and you know what I'm talking about. So, by the way, D-Book, I mentioned this last week, remember, is the name of a very popular shed or demon in Jewish folklore. Something smells fishy there. Where was I? So these people, when we were going through the D-Book 19 era, how people call it now, I call friends of mine, they were rabbis. I never called Rabbi Queen for this. Um, some of them were Christian pastors, some of them were leaders, of communities, and I told them we need to get together and do something about it. We need to inform people, that this is not what the media is portraying. This is just we believe that there is a Debug 19 somewhere there. There is something there. We know, we don't deny that. But this thing is being exaggerated, and fear is taking people, fear is killing people. We talk about how fear functions, remember, in our brain last week. And and all of they told me, no, 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 don't come to my house. Let's talk by phone because I don't want to get infected. And then they close their congregations, and they you have to come and you have to make an appointment for coming to the service, and then you have to be 6 feet away from the people, and this 6 feet away, where did they get this 6 feet? Why not 7? Why not 5? So the Debug 19 respect the boundaries of of geographical, you know what I'm talking about. So um, so I told all this that I thought they were my friends. So where is the powerful God that you actually preach? So how can this Debug 19 little thing, almost invisible, can be more powerful than God? Why are you closing your congregation? Why? I mean, tell people to come with masks. That's fine, people is free to do that. But why are you closing your congregation? Why don't you want me to go and visit you? Why did you want me? My own sister, she asked me, you have to have a test if you want to come and see me. My own sister. But do you hear me sneezing? Do you see me bad? No. But you might have the virus, the Debug 19. You might have it, but you don't know. We don't receive anybody in home if they don't show me the test. And then you have to step on this tray with bleach, and then you have to do all this ritual, and kind of like, it's amazing. Fear. And I had to tell my friends, pastors, rabbis, you know what? I'm sorry, but I don't think we can continue this relationship. You are an embarrassment because you are supposed to represent God. That's what I told them. I cut them off. I don't care. I'd rather to be in one corner by myself, alone with my Torah, okay, than being like everybody. I'm not gonna be a replica. And I'm gonna think and decide by myself. I'm not gonna allow fear to conquer inside of me. And if I get the Debug 19, I'm gonna die proudly of Debug 19 because I decided myself. I took the decision to die of Debug 19. And with this, I'm not saying that we have to be negligent. With this, I'm not saying that we have to be, negligent. And if you go to a place where there's people sick of that Debug 19, and if your measure of faith is telling you that you need to use a mask, use a mask. Wash your hands. Do the things you have to do. Get a diet. Protect yourself. Use your common sense. I'm not saying that you play the super apostle here, I'm all powerful. Nobody's gonna. No, but this was my measure of faith in those days, and I never got infected. I pray for people with the Debug 19, and without mask with them. But this is the thing. Once fear for disease, once fear for illness takes over in your brain, the brain, and this is science, you go to Google and find this is science. The brain start sending amounts of adrenaline into your body and poisonous chemicals that your body actually becomes sick. You kill your immune system. Fear kills immune system. My daughter is here. She saw me one time just sick. of flu. I have never gotten even flu in 25 years or so. And I'm not boasting, please don't, but it's many things. It's the exercise, it's the diet. I live in a ranch, peaceful, not in the city, like jungle, concrete jungle, all people crazy here, running in freeways and ambulances and crime. And so, but I think somehow by mercy of God, by grace of Hashem, I have finally conquered fears. I don't fear anything to this point in my life. Maybe because I went through so much suffering in my childhood, my teenagers, that who cares? I'm living overtime. My kids are grown, see my grandsons. So I don't fear anything. $40. Don't forget. So the other fear, and this is something, we can keep going with affliction, fear to all these things, But the other fear is very interesting. I think we talked about this before. Yeah, having fun in there. Yeah. So the other fear is the fear, and this is a very personal one. And teenagers, they are not immune to this. I was about to say something else, but I rather to use the word immune. And pre-teenagers. Nobody, even myself, adult people, elderlies, nobody escapes from this fear. And this is very destructive because it destroys from inside out. It's the fear of public opinion. What people will say of me. Have you experienced that before? Oh yes, every day. Since you go to the mirror in the morning, oh my gosh, you got a new pimple. Oh, what people is gonna think about me? That you have a pimple. So, by the way, don't squeeze that pimple because it leaves a mark. Okay? So, think about it. Oh, what dress should I use? Or what man also? What shirt should I use? Are you using that shirt? Are you using that dress? Are you using the shoes? Are you using that hat because what people are gonna think about you? Or because you just decided to use that shirt that day? Yeah. So what people is gonna say is so important that we become slaves of the public opinion. We fear what people might say about us. I have known people, particularly here in El Paso, is when I came back in touch with my Hispanic community after living almost 35 years near Canada. When I used to see a Mexican there or Hispanic, I used to chase this guy. Wow, are you Hispanic? ¿Habla español? Yo también, mucho gusto. Wow, just white people there, and blacks and whites and Asians. Well, now Mexicans are everywhere, the whole country. But back then, I used to chase them. And after 35 years, I used to run away from them because, all this Oregon is full of Mexicans now. Yeah, Washington. So I used to chase them, and then I used to run away from them. There's too many Mexicans here now. Too many Hispanics. Yeah. But I knew people, and even here in El Paso, that they are embarrassed because the color of the skin. I have had several people in my counseling table because what people say about them. Think about it. Oh, because their last names, because they sound so Hispanic. Think about it. So this can be a combination of prejudice, but prejudice doesn't come by itself. Ignorance is first. Ignorance begets prejudice. Okay? But the real root of this is fear. It's fear for what people would say about me, and my color of skin, about the tennis shoes that I'm wearing, about the cell phone I've used, about this, what people are gonna say. This is so destructive that has divided families, entire families. Society is so fragmented because of the fear of public opinion. And you know what? Who rules? Who dictates? In many ways this fear? Who instilled this fear? The wealthy people. The wealthy people. And I'm not saying that being wealthy is bad. Thank God for the wealthy people because they own, they own Nike. Actually, I met the owner of Nike in Oregon.
Seriously?
Yeah, he's from Beaverton, Oregon. Yeah.
Who, Bill Brown?
Huh?
Which one? Who? Which one?
I don't remember his name. He's a blonde guy. Don't remember his name. But actually, we worked in his house. We did a job in his house. Yeah.
For how long?
In one of the many houses in Lake Oswego, Oregon, close to Beaverton, Oregon, where the headquarters of Nike is. So Beaverton, Oregon is next to Portland, Oregon. Portland is where my youngest was born. Yeah. So those are lungs.
Did you ever go to Eugene?
Eugene, yeah, I was there. Yeah, I know Oregon.
No.
Lincoln City, Cannon Beach. I mean, the whole coast is beautiful. One of the most beautiful places in the world, but one of the most depressive places in the world.
Is it because it's cloudy all the time?
Always cloudy, yeah. That's why I moved to Texas. One of the reasons. Not the reason. So, actually, there's more suicidal people in Oregon and in Washington State than any other state in the United States of America. Young people. Yeah, young and old. Depressive. Even worse today with all this Antifa that was born in all these burning cars and buildings, all this evil agenda. It's getting even worse because crime is everywhere. Portland was one of the most beautiful cities in the United States. Is gone because crime, homeless. Anyways, we're about to finish, and the fear of public opinion. We can't overcome this fear. It's crazy. It's very important what people say. So, and when I talk about rich people, thank God for the rich people because they provide jobs. They pay taxes and they keep the internal economy growing in any country. There are good rich people. There are bad rich people. Okay, not all rich people are bad. Don't believe that lie. There's poor people that are more evil than many rich people. So, but the rich people are the ones that regulate how you dress. Okay, thank you. How you dress. You need to know those shoes. What brand is it? You show the brand. Brand Patito. Brand Little Ducky. Made in China. Yeah, they don't last. The only thing that China has made that lasts is Debug 19. The only thing that has lasted. But you buy any tool Chinese, everything breaks. I'm not talking about the Chinese people. Okay, we love Chinese people. I'm talking about, the government, all this thing. So, no. And the rich, they dictate that you must have at least a Reebok tennis shoes, no Ducky Patito brand. Okay, so. You see, and we have in this constant fear. You have to have this kind of body, this kind of face, this kind of. You see the euphoria that there is now that everybody wants to be a fighter. Have you noticed that? You have all these ladies, in the gym. Have you noticed that? Everybody wants to be a fighter. I just received a call from this friend of ours. We found him in Walmart, remember? And he said, "Oh, please pray for me because I'm gonna have a kickboxing fight after Shabbat." And I'm like, he used to study with me. And I said, "What are you doing, fighting, and after Shabbat? I mean, you should be with us in the synagogue, doing Havdalah, and you should be. I mean, so you see, everybody wants to be a fighter. Why? Because this is the new thing. If you don't get involved in what the rich are dictating, you become a victim of the public opinion. Oh, you are not following the crowd per se. Okay. There was a point when everybody wanted to be like what was the name of this supposedly singer that she didn't sing? She was Jewish, by the way. What was her name? Give me a name of the famous singer 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago.
Who?
Huh? She was blonde, but she dyed her hair blonde.
Britney Spears?
Britney Spears.
Oh, I was like 20.
Yeah. Everybody wanted to be like Britney Spears. You know? So if you are not like Britney Spears, you're a victim of public opinion. And then you fear not to be like Britney Spears. So society demands that you must be like Michael Jackson. You get it? So, I mean, we can go on and on. But fear of public opinion is totally destructive because destroys your own confidence. You are not thinking for yourself. You are not deciding for yourself. Somebody else is thinking for yourself. Somebody else is deciding for yourself. Somebody else is dictating what kind of clothes you have to use. Somebody else is dictating how you should think, how you should relate to your girlfriend, to your boyfriend. It's not you anymore. You have been deprived of your own volition, of your own will. And this is very destructive. And people fear not to follow the crowd because what they are going to say. Well, if you want to take my advice, preferable to be in one corner alone, but knowing that I'm doing what is right, who are sharing with me, yeah, than being like the rest of all the copies out there. Yeah. So, fear not. Fear not. Thank you. Don't become victim of all these kind of fears. There's more, but well, we started late today, and I couldn't finish the way I should, but I think you got the idea. Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom.